Oh my goodness. You guys, I knew it was going to happen. I didn't know it would happen on the first day of these demos. I did a bunch of stuff and I wasn't recording. Oh, okay. So let me just explain to you what I did. I cleaned up my cylinder because that's the one I'm going to start with. Okay. I erased away any lines I didn't need and I just polished it up so I'm ready to start shading. The other thing I did was I pulled out a student portfolio. So let me get a student portfolio to show you guys. I really love this student's work. Let me show you. She let me keep this, at least for now. She'll be back for it one day, I'm sure. Her name's Van. She's amazing. Look at this, you guys. This is such a beautiful job on this exercise. What I loved about it, and the reason I was really thrilled she let me keep it, was that if you look at her shapes, do you see how they don't have outlines? Do you see how she allowed the value at the edge to meet the value next to it? And that defines the edge. No need for an outline. How beautiful is that? Our brain gets it. We don't really need an outline. And if you look at the world around you, things aren't outlined. But we understand when one object ends and another thing begins because the values change, right? So you can really tell right here on this cone where you've got the brightest highlight, this highlight runs into the white of the paper. There's no division here, and she doesn't need one. Our brain gets it. We fully understand what we're looking at, even without an outline. So if you want to try to do something like this, I totally encourage it. I think this is just beautifully done, and I'm really thankful to have it as an example here. We're going to talk a lot in this class about outlines and our human eyeball, how we perceive things, and little tricks we can do as artists to help us achieve what we need to when the viewer looks at what we've created. Now I'm going to come back to this page here, and I want to point out a couple of things. The cube and the pyramid are pretty easy because they have flat sides. Okay, those flat sides hit the light, catch the light all at once. So that means this entire side should be the same value, the same level of darkness. Okay. Same with the top, same with the front. If you're doing some sort of a gradient on here, then you're not doing it right. You could, in another, project, do an artistic license and kind of have some artistic fun with this. But for our purposes, to try to make this as real as we can, this entire edge should be all the same value. The top should be all the same value, and the side should be all the same value. We're going to do the lightest value at the top, medium on the front, and darkest here where the light isn't hitting it, because we're assuming our light source is coming from above and to the left. Likewise with our pyramid, we've got 1, 2 sides, they're both flat, so we're going to pick a lighter value and a darker value and just fill in those sides just like that. Okay, let's talk about the cylinder. I'm going to start with the core shadow, and I'm going to go dark. I want to really go for it because I really want this drawing to have each area with the full range of value. So I'm going to take my 4B, where did it go? Right here. And I'll go ahead and start filling in where my core shadow needs to go, just like this. Okay, it's going to be maybe about this big, and I can press pretty darn hard. Like this basically can be equivalent to number 6 on your value scale. So let me get nice and dark right here. And let me clean it up right along the top edge, nice and neat, and then I'm going to blend it to the right. Okay, so I'm going to turn the paper because my hand is going to move better if I have the paper rotated. And I'm going to go ahead and lift up my pressure as I go and see if I can get from like a level 6 to like a level, maybe like a level 4 as I work my way towards the edge. Okay, and just make sure it's nice and neat. If you want to try what that student did and avoid the outline, bring that value right to the edge and don't outline it. Okay, so that's that side. I'm now going to work my way this way. So just like the core shadow is located right about here, okay, I'm going to put an arrow on it. Okay, let me do it with this pencil. Okay, so my core shadow is right about here. Mirroring that on the other side is going to be my brightest highlight. Okay, so this top to bottom is going to be my brightest highlight. Okay, running straight up and down. What that means is I need to transition from here to there just like I did up here, although I didn't finish this, but you know what I mean. So let me go ahead and take my 4B, and I'm just going to start working my way. Now, I find it easiest to shade with my pencil going top to bottom on the shape, but if you want to go and kind of curve around like you're on the side of the shape, there's so many different ways you can do this, but what we're trying to achieve is just a nice smooth gradient, and feel free to experiment a little bit with how you do that, as long as the end result gives us what we're going for here, which is a nice smooth gradient reaching all the way across. I am going to turn my paper again, because I need to get that little edge. And when I try to get an edge, it helps me to have the tip of the pencil running right up against that edge so I can get a nice clean edge. Okay, let me now, that was a 4B. I'm going to take my 2B and I'm going to layer right over it. And work my way, just work my way back, okay? Keep in mind, you're going to have to get to the white of the paper by about where that arrow is. So I'm going to start lifting the pressure of my hand as I go here. And if you feel like you get a little too dark anywhere, you can blot it up with that, kneaded eraser. But it's much easier to build it up darker. It's much more difficult to make things lighter, okay? Okay, let me switch now to my HB pencil. I'll sharpen it again. And I'll see if I can just smooth that last little bit over. I'm going to try to go this way. Now, you might find that you've got a heavy hand, okay? Some people do. Oh my gosh, I forgot to say something that I should have said first thing. Is anybody out there rubbing the paper with their fingers to smudge? Are you guys doing that? Is anybody taking their finger and getting in there and blending with your fingertip? Okay, resist the temptation. I think it's human nature for us to want to do that, but I need you guys not to do that, okay? Our fingertips have oil on them, and we don't want that oil on the paper. Over time, it will actually make the paper break down. So if you need to blend, use a blending tool. Don't use your fingers, okay? Sorry for not saying that earlier. I think I'll actually type that and put it in the instructions so you see it right away. Okay, I'm relatively happy with this. Could I blend it a little smoother? Yes, I'll probably go over it with my HB just to smooth everybody out a little bit. But now I need to end on this side. So my bright highlight is here. It does not reach the edge as we discussed. So what I need to do is pull in just like a level 1, okay, or like a level 2, okay, right here on the edge. I just need a little something to make sure that it looks like that bright highlight is not going all the way to the edge. And let me take a little time and try to smooth this out. But that gives you an idea of how to do the cone. Okay, I haven't done the top side yet, so let me get that in here real quick. Make sure everybody's happy. I mean, guys, I could spend all day here. Honestly, if I wasn't trying to record these videos in a reasonable amount of time, I could sit here forever. And if I didn't have anything else to do, I have plenty of other things I need to do. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, let's talk about that top surface. The top surface here should match whatever you do on your cube, okay? So maybe I'm gonna take a HB and I'm just gonna give myself a little something up here, maybe equivalent to like a level 3 on the value scale, that's fine. Level 2 on the value scale, no problem, okay? But whatever you do here needs to be nice and even all the way across because this is a flat area. And whatever you do there, you can also, while you're at it, you could pop that on your cube down here if you feel like it, okay? But because those are both flat surfaces facing upwards, they're both gonna get the same value, okay? Notice how I'm turning my pencil so the tip of the pencil is pointing at the edges so that I can automatically get it a little bit more clean. Now that is a little messy. I can do better. I've always found the lighter values are a little harder to do. It's hard to get those nice and even, at least for me. Okay, and if you want to try to achieve that illusion that the student did, you can come back in and you can remove any of your lines and just allow the value to come to the edges. I'm not going to take the time to do it, but if you want that challenge, by all means do it. Another challenge, if you're interested, okay, if you're interested, you could make these look shiny like chrome. I will throw that out there if anybody wants to try it on one of the shapes. This would be a good one to do it on, or this cone. If you want to make them look shiny like chrome, find a reference photo. Look for a photo of a chrome cone or a chrome cylinder and see if you can observe where the highlights and shadows go. It's a really fun exercise, and if you've done some drawing before and if you're finding this to be pretty easy, then that's something that I would definitely recommend. Okay, I'm going to do the cone, and then I think I'm going to do one final video here. I'll break it up into a couple more. Okay, so for the cone is a cousin of the cylinder. Let me actually show you what I mean by that. When we look at the cylinder, the core shadow is running straight up and down. Okay, my pencil is on it. As I move my pencil along, my pencil should be on the same amount of value, right? Like this is all about a level 4 or 3. This is all a level 2. This is all a level 1, okay? Vertical pencil is laying against the side of the cylinder, and it's the shadow areas, the value areas are running straight up and down. When we look at the cone, we have that same core shadow, we have that same bright highlight, but what's happening here is they're pivoting around the tip of the cone, okay? So my core shadow is no longer straight up and down. It is starting out really skinny, and it's widening as we get to the base. You see it? And then same with the highlight. It's wider at the base and it's skinny at the top. So every value has to skinny itself right up to the tippy top, okay, and taper into a wedge in order to get the illusion of a cone. We'll go ahead over here, and I'm going to start with my 4B, and just like I did before, I'll go ahead and identify my core shadow. I could take a sec, guys. I didn't, but I should clean up my shape. If you didn't, we'll see if we can just, oops, neaten up your shape a little bit so that you know exactly what lines to go to. Okay. Okay. And let me go ahead and go straight up and down. So some people have a really heavy hand. You're going to find that maybe you do, maybe you have a really light touch, but I would say when I teach this class, about maybe 25% of the students in the class have quite a heavy hand, where you're drawing super, super dark and dramatic. And I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's going to make your fashion illustrations dynamic and exciting to look at. For this exercise, though, you need to be careful because it's way harder to erase away a dark than it is to build it up. So try not to go too dark too fast for this assignment. If, on the other hand, you have a light touch, because I usually have a handful of students who have a light touch. If you have a light touch, then at the end of this assignment, you're going to need to go back and pop your darks, okay? You might look at this and you might see that this, what I'm drawing now, is not a 6. Maybe it's only a 4. Okay, you're going to need to darken it up. So here's my core shadow. Let me now work it out to the edge. I'm going to rotate the paper to make it easier for me to draw. And I'm going to, where am I here? There we go. I'm so worried that I'm going to record a bunch of stuff and that it wouldn't, and that the camera wasn't on or it wasn't visible. But yeah, the start of this video, oh my God, you guys, it's like Groundhog's Day. I already recorded it. I don't know if any of you guys took the history of costume class with me, but the part A, I recorded those so long ago. I was like barely a brand new teacher. I look back at those and I was like, oh, I was younger then. It was only 9 years ago. I'm like, what's happening to me? I'm aging and I'm speed aging. When I was recording those videos, I didn't know how to edit videos at that time, so I was trying to do it all in one take, which was crazy. And I had to redo them so many times. Okay, so I'm okay, I think, with this side. I might need to clean it up a little bit. Let me now work that way. So I'm going to go back to my 4B, and I'm going to start blending myself out. Notice that I'm continuing to make wedge shapes, okay? Whatever value I'm working on, right now I'm kind of a level 4-ish, is wider at the bottom and tapers to super skinny at the top. And I need to make sure that I become white of the paper by the time I get about here. Okay, so I'm gonna say from about here to here, we want the white of the paper. So let me just work my way over there. I'm switching now from a 4B to a 2B to just help me along. And here we go, here we go, here we go. You'll notice that for most of this, I'm holding my pencil overhand. This is wonderful if you can get comfortable doing it, but it feels really awkward at first. Okay, it's gonna feel really awkward at first. With practice, it'll feel a lot more natural, but you can see how quickly I'm able to cover a lot of area when I hold my pencil this way. Okay, there we go. I need to neaten it up. I need to smooth it out, but this is getting me, I'm on the way there. Okay, here's my brightest highlight. Now I'm gonna take my HB and I need to just make sure that I pop a little bit of shadow, like a level 1, maybe a level 2 over here on this side. And I'm gonna blend that over. Let's see if I can get a good view here, and I'm just gonna blend that over back to the highlight. Okay, and back to the highlight. So notice that my highlight, let's see if I can clean it up. This needs to be cleaned up, this needs to be cleaned up. This edge needs to be cleaned up. But notice that my highlight is tapering to be really, really skinny up here at the top, okay? And then I still can blend it a little bit better. When in doubt, step back, squint at it, see what you want to adjust. I guarantee you I'm going to end this recording and then I'm going to squint at it and I'm going to realize I need to fix something. But that will get us pretty far along. Okay, I'm going to do the next recording and we'll talk about the shadows.